me the opportunity to testify here before you today. I've worked closely with your counterparts in other states, and I know what they go through, especially with regard to medical cannabis. So for that, your efforts are greatly appreciated. BioTrackTHC is a software firm based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've been serving the legal cannabis industry for over 6 years, making us one of the oldest and most experienced technology companies in this space. Our guiding principles are simple. Build robust software that brings transparency and therefore accountability to the cannabis product lifecycle for patients and authorized businesses. To make sure the cannabis gets into the hands for those whom it is intended and stays out of the hands for those whom it is not intended. To make sure that legitimate businesses have the tools to be successful, and those whom are not legitimate are quickly filtered out of the industry. We have 2 software solutions that are actively used today, both specifically created to enforce regulations and track cannabis products. The first is our private sector commercial inventory management system. This system is actively used by over 1,400 authorized marijuana grow sites and dispensaries to run their businesses while keeping employees accountable and maintaining proper record keeping. The commercial system is being used in all 23 states and abroad, including DC, Canada, South America, and beta testing in 2 universities in Jamaica. Our second software platform is a government monitoring system that collects all the seed-to-sale data from the commercial application and places it in one spot for government officials and law enforcement to access in real time. So they have access to cannabis production, testing, transportation, destruction, and sales data, empowering these governments with real-time visibility over every plant and every fraction of a gram of authorized cannabis in its production life cycle throughout the entire state. We have emerged as the successful vendor for 4 recent government contracts: Washington State, New York, New Mexico, and Illinois. The Washington State system is a battle-tested system, having successfully tracked over 1.2 million registered plants and over $100 million in taxes due to the state in its first 18 months. It is currently tracking $60 million in cannabis transactions per month and is on pace to track over $1 billion in the next 12 months. Last week, we implemented the New Mexico's medical cannabis tracking system statewide successfully, and this week we are on track launching the state of Illinois' medical cannabis tracking system. As of today, and I want to say this with a very important statement, BioTrackTHC stands alone as the only cannabis technology company that has successfully deployed cannabis technology to not only the private sector, but also the government sector. Excuse me. The private sector experience is the most important because of the hands-on knowledge gained from providing commercial seed-to-sale solutions, which is critical to designing an informed government tracking system. This ensures that the government solution is informed by industry best practices, challenges, and relevant innovations, rather than being developed in an uninformed bubble. As I'm certain many of you may know, the U.S. Department of Justice released a memorandum in August of 2013. And that memo indicates that a strong state tracking system is key to satisfying their guidance. And I don't mean to be cliche, but I will be quoting an excerpt from the whole memorandum for understanding. And I quote, "In jurisdictions that have enacted laws legalizing marijuana in some form, and that have also implemented strong and effective regulatory and enforcement systems to control the cultivation, distribution, sale, and possession of marijuana, conduct in compliance with those laws and regulation is less likely to threaten the federal priorities set forth. Indeed, a robust system may affirmatively address those priorities set forth by and, for example, implementing effective measures to prevent diversion of marijuana outside of the regulated system and to other states, prohibiting access to marijuana by minors, and replacing illicit marijuana trade that funds criminal enterprises with a tightly regulated market in which revenues are tracked and accounted for." The memorandum goes on to say that if state enforcement efforts are not significantly robust to protect against those harms set forth, the federal government may seek to challenge the regulatory structure itself, in addition to continuing to bring individual enforcement actions, including criminal prosecutions, focused on those harms. Our primary concern at BioTrackTHC is the long-term viability of this industry globally. For cannabis to succeed, patients need to have the peace of mind in knowing that products that they purchase are safe for consumption. Business owners who no longer wish to be perceived as barely legal drug dealers require ways to show themselves to be credible businesses with legitimate products. And government agencies need to have the tools to effectively do their jobs in monitoring the industry actively and collecting taxes and enforcing those laws. It's in everyone's best interest, regardless of how you personally feel about cannabis, to preventing the shutting down of this industry by providing comfort to both federal agencies and concerned citizens, and that state authorized products are not being diverted onto the black market, and that black market product is not being inverted into a regulated system. That medicine being purchased has in fact passed laboratory testing and is safe for consumption, and there needs to be a unified platform that allows for easy collection of marijuana production and sales data to create a healthy cannabis environment. Government cannabis tracking systems like the one that has been implemented in the state of Washington are incredibly effective tools. Every plant and every fraction of a gram is visible to the state in real time. All marijuana can be forward traced from seed to sale and can be backwards traced from sale to seed, creating a chain of supply. Wholesale products cannot be shipped without a standardized and electronically filed shipping manifest to the department. And the system blocks the generation of these manifests if the product either fails laboratory testing or has no laboratory results associated with it. If a law enforcement officer pulls over a vehicle transporting cannabis, he or she can refer to the manifest to verify that it is a legitimate transport. If suspicious of the manifest itself, the law enforcement officer can then contact the department and compare the physical document in hand to that of the original digital manifest that was created in the system. I can go on and on about the value of having digital data submitted directly to the state in real time, or how enabling the state to be proactive in ensuring compliance while holding cultivators and dispensaries transparent and therefore accountable is important. But that's not why we're here today. It's because of ill individuals who need the medicine that cannot gain proper access and legal access to it. It's about family members who wish to return to their homes here in the great state of Georgia and live the quality of life that they've been promised by the Constitution. It's about ensuring that we can provide a regulated, safe, and effective market for individuals who need this medicine in some form or another. Medical cannabis is a reality here in Georgia, and there is no question any longer. The question is no longer, am I for cannabis or against it? But the question is now, do we stick to the status quo, or do we put together a strong foundation for a healthy and well-run industry? I think we're all in agreement that the status quo is not a tenable solution, and it's my hope that Georgia will continue to build its reputation and be another example to the on-the-fencers around the country that healthy and successful cannabis industries are a possibility. I thank you for your time, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Stiffler.